Djibouti fronts Mahmoud Youssef as its candidate for the AUC chairmanship. Kenya and Djibouti are entering a rematch of diplomacy that happened just 4 years ago. But Djibouti did not take that lightly. Djibouti decided that they will not listen to the AU and contested and challenged Kenya's candidacy at the UNSC and 2020. No one expected that Djibouti will take this matter up to the UN General Assembly. So Djibouti wrote a statement to the AU that read, "This process took place yesterday. Different presidents came to Kenya to support the candidacy of Raila Odinga to become the AUC chairman. This included Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu, also Salva Kiir from South Sudan, Yoweri Museveni from Uganda, and of course William Ruto from Kenya, and Kagame and Ndayishimiye from Rwanda and Burundi respectively also sent their ministers of foreign affairs and prime minister to come and give their remarks and give their support for the Kenya's candidate Raila Odinga." Well, as that is going on, we have to understand that there are 4 candidates who are going head to head on this seat. We know that this is a reserve of the East Africa, and 4 East African countries are presenting their candidates. That includes Madagascar, Mauritius, Kenya, and Djibouti. But of interest are the 2 main contenders, that is Kenya and Djibouti. Djibouti fronts Mahmoud Youssef as its candidate for the AUC chairmanship, that is Djibouti's Minister of Foreign Affairs. And something very interesting is that Kenya and Djibouti are entering a rematch of diplomacy that happened just 4 years ago. Yes, in 2020, there was a row between Kenya and Djibouti regarding the UNSC membership. At that time, the reserve was just as it is right now. It was a time for the East African also to bring its candidature for the UNSC. The UNSC countries sit to decide on very important matters that happen across the world, where we have the Big Five and then the other 10, the P5 and the E10, the non-permanent and permanent members of the UNSC that vote on different issues, including wars that are happening across the world, the Ukraine war, the war in Gaza, and everything else. At that time, Kenya had given its interest to be part of the UNSC. Djibouti also came out and said that they also want to be part of the UNSC. Well, as per the AU resolution of 2007, the African Union will come up with 3 member states who will just be fronted after the African Union has decided to support these 3 member states. And these 3 member states are voted and agreed upon the members of the African states. They are fronted to the United Nations Security Council. Now, what happened in 2020 was that Kenya managed to get the support of the AU. That means that Kenya got the support of many African states and was voted to be among the 3 countries that will represent Africa at the UNSC. And that meant that in East Africa, Kenya will be chosen alongside other 2 nations across the continent. But Djibouti did not take that lightly. While the AU stipulates that the candidates will be presented to the UNSC without any contention, Djibouti decided that they will not listen to the AU and contested and challenged Kenya's candidacy at the UNSC and 2020. They say that Kenya did not deserve to be part of the UNSC at that time because Kenya served at the UNSC in 1977 to 1978, as well as 1997 to 1998, while Djibouti had only served in 1993 to 1994. They say that by the virtue of the fact that the selection of members has to be on a rotational basis, as well as also has to factor in the matter of frequency, that Kenya did not deserve, and Djibouti was the right candidate to be nominated by the East African region as well as the AU to the UNSC. Now, no one expected that Djibouti will take this matter up to the UN General Assembly, because just the fact that the AU has given you the mandate, it doesn't mean that you will automatically be at the UNSC. You have to be voted in by the General Assembly. So when the AU brings 3 candidates, they don't have to be voted in because these are automatically absorbed. But at that time, there was a row between Kenya and Djibouti, because only one of them had to go at the UNSC. So Djibouti wrote a statement to the AU that read, "This process took place in violation of the rules and traditions of the organization." Djibouti points out that the texts provide that in the event of multiple candidacy or lack of consensus, states are chosen according to two principles, that of last rotation and that of frequency. They went further and said, the Republic of Djibouti regards its candidacy as legitimate and that of a united Africa. Consequently, it intends to defend and promote it until they vote before the United Nations General Assembly in June 2020. So, Djibouti decided to take the matter up to the UN General Assembly, and that meant that the two countries will have to be voted in by countries across the world. At that time, Kenya went all out to seek its allies across the world, as well as Djibouti went to seek its allies to vote for each of them when push came to shove. And after the results came out, Djibouti got 78, while Kenya got 113. And that meant that they had to go for a runoff where Kenya automatically won. But this gives us the view that Djibouti now has coming into a second draw with Kenya. We are in a second diplomatic contest between Kenya and Djibouti. And of course, Djibouti has not forgotten what happened in 2020 when Kenya took its place, or as they say, in the UNSC. And now they are in a row between Kenya and Djibouti regarding the AUC chairmanship. And of course, when we analyze the previous voting patterns in 2020, you'll realize that Ethiopia, Sudan, and Somalia were very, very loyal to Djibouti and supported Djibouti during the time when it was against Kenya. Perhaps that is the reason why the president of Somalia did not attend yesterday's meeting. But something surprising was that Eritrea voted for Kenya. Eritrea is also a neighbor to Djibouti. Eritrea is a neighbor to Ethiopia, but decided to vote for Kenya because of the border issues that they have with Djibouti. Maybe these patterns will stand, maybe they will change, but what we know is that there is a diplomatic row between Kenya and Djibouti, and these two countries are going to fight to their last minute for one of them to be appointed as the AUC chairman. Goods can come into the country. You understand now why Ethiopia will still vote Djibouti.
So this is the reason why Raila Amolo Odinga will lose the AU seat.
another interesting country, Sudan. Sudan will always vote Djibouti. I think it's because of the Arab-speaking nature of the countries in the northern Africa and the Sahel regions. So that language-speaking Arab, French, they will align together and try and vote Djibouti. But something also very interesting is that there is a chance for Raila Odinga if he marshals the support of Southern Africa and some bit of Western Africa. Some very good allies are there and they can support him or his bid towards the end. Eritrea, coming to Eritrea now. In 2020 UNSC, Eritrea surprised many because they voted for Kenya. Yet they border Djibouti. Yes. The reason is to the fact that
you haven't seen the president of Eritrea coming to Kenya the other day. So something might have happened.
The reason is if Eritrea and Djibouti have a border issue with together. So that border issue makes Eritrea not to be very close to Djibouti and will try to even support another candidate that is far away against Djibouti. So that is why Asmara decided to vote for Nairobi. Yeah. So it is likely that one will still stay. But
you mean that Ethiopia is going to support Djibouti?
Yes.
What if Raila Amolo Odinga wins and goes to Addis Ababa?
Raila,
you know very well that Addis Ababa it is in Ethiopia.
Raila has been a champion of saying that people who didn't vote for you should still be in government. So I think he'll apply that one there. But it will be interesting, and it will be in public who voted for who,
and which government decided to support which. Something very interesting is that we are seeing that alignment in Africa where blocs are supporting each other.
True.
And it was very, very important for the EAC to support Raila Odinga. If the EAC could not have supported Raila Odinga, then there will be a problem. There will be a problem. Countries that we should watch again, I'll repeat, DRC, very important, because we left DRC just last year after they say that our men in uniform, the KDF, are not helping them. So it will be very interesting to see what DRC
and even
will do.
the president of DRC didn't come to that launch.
Did come, and yet they say that they are in EAC.
There are people. There are so many people here in Kenya.
Yet they also say that they are in East African community. They didn't even send a representative. That tells you a lot. You know, it's better for Kagame. It's better for Evariste, Burundi and Rwanda. They sent their representatives and they read their statement. But DRC did not even send a representative.
Let's watch out.
Let us wait for it.
I believe that Raila Amolo Odinga is going to win because of the influence that he has towards the whole Africa.
Yes.
You see that the influence that he has towards the other president.
Yes.
Comparing Raila Amolo Odinga and Amina Mohammed the previous day that he became, I think, number 52. This time, Kenya is going to clinch this AU seat. That is my opinion.
Yes.
And
my opinion is that, yes, Raila Odinga might win, but it will take him a lot of power, a lot of convincing for these countries to support Kenya at this time, because the ground is not that easy. If he dare slips, it will slip in his hands.
And there are some people that are saying that Raila Amolo Odinga was cast by his father. So if Raila Amolo, they are saying that Raila Amolo Odinga cannot become a national leader of anything. That is the reason why hata kuachiwa party.
Those are propagandists. Those are propagandists.
So let's wait and see if Raila Amolo Odinga is going to clinch this seat, because it's a big seat in the whole of Africa.
It is.
Even more than the president.
Yes. Well, wait.
Yeah.
He doesn't command any army, so the president is still...
Until next time, game over.